Florida students are back in class this week. Parents very happy to drop off the kids at school for a new academic school year. There are new rules, and there's a controversy on more book bans that are stirring debate among parents and educators. Take a look.
No more cell phones at school. That's the message for Florida's K-8 students. Supporters of the new law claim it will reduce distractions, but some parents say that cell phones are a matter of safety.
I grew up in a time where we didn't have cell phones, so I agree with that because of the distraction it creates. But it's also a scary time in the school system, and you have, as a parent, you have that peace of mind, like knowing that you can communicate with your kid at any time.
I understand, with them being on the social media while they're in school and that distraction, but just mostly just a safety concern.
Back to school controversies aren't just about cell phones. Book bans are back, with Hillsborough County in the spotlight. The district removed from school shelves the memoir of a transgender YouTuber. The action was taken after pressure on social media from state officials. Florida's new education commissioner gave a hard-line warning to Superintendent Van Ayers over the book titled Transmission: My Quest to a Beard. Ayers said the memoir was added to a school library before his tenure. He also plans to recommend removing the book's blankets and identical during the September 9th school board meeting.
Divya, I'd like to start with you. You covered for the Tampa Bay Times the back and forth on social media between the education commissioner and the superintendent. What was the tone of that?
Yeah, I think it was really interesting to kind of see how this all sort of escalated with this new education commissioner. Kind of tweeted that image of this book on display at a Hillsborough school and kind of tagging the Hillsborough superintendent in it, kind of saying that he expects something to be done, and then other high-profile individuals getting involved. I think Layla Collins, who was the wife of Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins.
Jay Collins, that's right. We had the Attorney General also.
Yes, and I think she was recently appointed to the state board, and she kind of tagged then local school board members and the school board chair, and the Attorney General, another state board member, all kind of got involved on this conversation on X. And I think the superintendent has said, repeatedly that they had conversations offline, and that in general he characterizes their relationship as a good one, but this is a very public facet of it.
As the education reporter, this must have been a different kind of experience for you, because typically you're looking at meetings, at phone calls, at emails, not at posts on social media platforms.
Right, and I think it kind of raises some questions about the processes in place and what that means for books, and if somebody at that level just tweets about a book, can it just disappear?
It's certainly starting quite a few conversations. Jacob, I'd like to ask you about the cell phone ban. That's really a big conversation around the water cooler, so to speak. Do you find that parents are predominantly in favor of the ban or not?
I'd say so, and I think that when you're looking at,
they are in favor or they're not?
That they are in favor.
Okay.
I think there's been many conversations throughout the years about screen time and about limiting that, especially among different ages and whatnot. And it's funny because Axios, with its bullet points and 2-minute articles, we were founded on the principle that in eye tracking studies, they found that one person stays on a particular piece of content for only 26 seconds before moving on to the next one. So I bring this up because what does that do to one's attention span, right? And as a graduate student as well as a full-time writer, I sometimes just to read a book, sometimes I'm already before knowing it, I'm on Instagram. So I think they're wondering what this is going to do to these younger minds as they're being shaped with all this fundamental knowledge at this point. And in terms of concerns for safety, there are things like air tags that parents also use to keep track of where their students are, where their children are. So I think that's kind of answers to an extent some of the safety concerns, right? But obviously there's wanting to communicate with them and things of that nature. And so I can recognize that as well.
Daryl, what does this say about the state's involvement in curriculum?
Well, it's always a messy issue. That's pretty much what you can say, because one size doesn't fit all. I mean, you look at this in the phone ban, there isn't one size for all of the students in the public education system. They've got a different set of rules for elementary and middle school students as opposed to high school students. That, I think, is a good idea, because you're dealing with different kids at different age in the educational process. So I think they were smart to do that, and I think the parents like the way those laws are written. Plus, even for all students, there are exceptions. You know, any child with a medical condition, for example, is going to have the ability to contact their parent or get access to medical assistance if they should need it. So those are good kinds of things. I think parents like that. Parents favor that kind of policy.
So talk to your school, make sure your child is getting what they need.
Know what the policy is for your child today, and find out what it is and respond accordingly.